Welcome to Helping Hands with your hosts, John Neiman and Judy Ritchie.
Hello and welcome to Helping Hands. This is our opportunity to let you and the community know how you can lend a helping hand to a program or agency in need. I'm Judy Ritchie, Community Advocate.
I'm John Neiman with Aurora Medical Center, and welcome to our May edition of Helping Hands. And yes, folks, it's really spring. I think it's here to stay this time. We're so glad that you could join us. Where can you see us? You can see us on Life TV. I encourage you to go to oshkoshmedia.org and go and find the schedule of all the wonderful shows that are playing on Life TV, including ours, Helping Hands. This is the time we also want to thank our sponsors who make this show possible, and that would be our floral sponsor, which is Harnix Flowers and Gifts, and then our monetary sponsor, which is Aurora Healthcare. We're very happy that they're here so we can be on the air with another wonderful show.
And one of the things that we really like to do, have started this year, is a new segment called Unsung Heroes. And we had the fun of going out a couple of weeks ago and surprising a very nice lady who truly is an unsung hero. If you go to the tape, we'll let you find out.
Can I look at it?
We're at Aurora Medical Center and planning to surprise Donna Walter, who is definitely an unsung hero. She's here every day during the week. Most of the employees think she is another employee, and actually she's a volunteer who puts in well over 1,000 hours a year.
She does a lot here. We call her a volunteer ambassador, but she also does a lot in our community, helping with the Christmas presents and also ringing the bells. So she's a wonderful person, and we've gathered here, and I gave her a special project to do, and we're going to go surprise her.
Oh, this is, no.
Yes. So-
Not me again.
Donna,
No.
this is our chance to recognize you as an unsung hero. People here at Aurora think you're an employee. They forget that you're a volunteer. So we'd like to recognize you as an unsung hero.
Thank you.
This is something brand new that we started with Oshkosh Media. So we did our first one in March. So you are the May 2018 Oshkosh Community Unsung Hero.
Thank you.
This shows all the heart that you have for everyone here. So this is a new name that I told her because I knew you didn't want flowers. I know you're not big on flowers.
I didn't want this either.
And a card from the Friends of OCM.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I hate to tell you, because for our audience too, I gave Donna a fake project to do to keep her busy in here, and she already did it this morning, but it's not needed. It was a fake project.
Yeah. 3 pages of written material.
But this is Donna Walter. She is our volunteer ambassador here at Aurora. She's here Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. every day, and she works in all aspects of the hospital and of the clinic. So you are our May Unsung Hero.
Thank you, dear. Oh, I wasn't ready for this.
Well, and we're back, and guess who's with us live in the studio? May's Unsung Community Hero, Donna Walter. Welcome here. At least you're not surprised about this because we told you
Yes.
about this today.
Yes, very much so.
Well, thank you for being here. How did it feel to be chosen and surprised?
Overwhelming. I wasn't ready for that. I don't like all that recognition.
Well, and that's one thing. Our first recipient had the same attitude, the same remarks, because she felt, number one, she didn't deserve it. She felt there were other people involved that could have gotten it. But that's why we do this with Oshkosh Media, is to surprise those hardworking people who sometimes just go unrecognized.
And it's not that you're unrecognized, but you don't look for the recognition. And as I've said in the that previous segment, the staff at Aurora, a lot of them really truly believe you're one of them not the volunteers that are coming in and unpaid.
Yeah.
And that, I think that speaks volumes.
Well, and it really is true because most of the times now, if people need something, they will call Donna before they call me, and they'll call me as the second resort because Donna does a lot of different things like delivering items that are in need, like blankets and pillows. But she also witnesses advance directives because she can as a volunteer, and they will most of the time call Donna and say, "Can you get another witness? Can you do this?" The important question that I'm going to ask you is, I know the answer, but our audience doesn't, is why did you start volunteering at Aurora?
My husband got sick down south, and we brought him home on a plane, and Aurora was waiting for him because they were in contacted ahead of time. And he was in the hospital in intensive care for 10 days, and he just had marvelous care. He didn't make it, but I knew that they tried everything. And so this was, to me, was just wonderful. And after he passed away, I knew I had to do something with myself, and I thought, well, there's where I got to go, back to Aurora.
And that was nice because when I first met you in the interview, you did say that. You said your doctor mentioned something about counseling, and you said, I'm going to go volunteer. And that's what she's done now for 10.
Yeah, my 11th year.
It's her 11th year. And really, she is there as an ambassador. It was a title we created. But the hours that she puts in, if you think about it, that's over 1,500 hours a year. And that's why when Judy said most people think you're a paid caregiver is because you're there all of the time. Even though I tell my volunteers, if schools are closed because of the weather or you don't feel safe coming in, do not come in.
And unfortunately, fortunately for you, unfortunately she had to go out in the weather. With the snowstorm that we had last month, she was there when very few people were
Yes.
otherwise.
Right.
Which is dedication. It is a level of commitment that we so rarely see when the weather gets bad.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that will cause Donna not to volunteer is that nasty 4-letter word.
GOLF.
Golf. Because golfing is her big thing on Tuesdays or when it's nice with friends, which is really nice. Most people that we know, most volunteers, we call them snowbirds because they go away. Or in the summer, a lot of volunteers take off because they want to spend time. But Donna doesn't do that except for golf. Do you want to talk about some of the different things you do at Aurora?
Well, I had one episode where we had some extra flowers. So I thought, well, I'll just walk around and give flowers out. And I was down by the lab, and this little boy was there. So I went up to him and I gave him a flower, and he was just overwhelmed with it. And he took the flower and he walked over to his mom and he said, "Mama, this is for you." And it just made me smile, and I just felt wonderful about it. You know.
And that is what we know, as you've seen Donna's cart. She has a cart full of books and stuffed animals. And that's what she does. She goes to all of the waiting rooms in the hospital and the clinic. She talks to patients. She gets their comments, whether they're positive or not so positive, and she relays those back to us because people who are doing a good job need to be told that too. So we give the positive comments, but also if we're not doing something as well as we should, we also share those not so good comments so people can change, so people can learn.
And I see a lot of that, so, and it helps. It really does.
And I don't even know how many steps you put on anymore because her first I don't even use them, but her first one died. I had to keep changing the batteries because it was not normal life expectancy.
It was anywhere from 4 to 6 miles a day.
Yeah, is how much she puts on. Yeah.
Because we talk about doing 10,000 steps a day is really good for your body. And I know from some of the events that I do that 10,000 steps is nothing. And I know the couple of events that Carlene and I do over there, we put way more than that on, and you put even more than we do.
Yeah.
And doing it daily. And that's got to be what also helps you with the energy level that you have and physically how good you're feeling.
Yeah. Well, there's just so many cute people that come in, and some of them just needed, to hold their hands. Some just need hugs. I have one young man right now who's going through cancer. And so every time he comes in for his treatment, I go down and I sit with him for 10, 15 minutes. We just joke around and I talk with him. And he's smiling when I'm leaving, and so I always smile back at him, and it makes me feel good as well as I'm sure it makes him feel good too.
Well, and when you're doing that, it's important to remember that not everyone has got a buddy to come with them for their treatment.
Right.
Some don't even have any family in the area.
Definitely.
And so when you spend those few minutes with them, to them, that's the world. And that is so important for them to know that somebody cares and somebody is there as a constant.
But it's important to me too. It
Yes.
makes me feel good, you know.
And we have to say that Donna is kind of the keeper of the donations also that come in. So the wonderful Project Linus blankets and Lakeside quilters from Wisconsin, warmers, and the bags from the public library and all of that. Donna has places that she delivers them in the hospital and in the clinic,
Yes.
whether it's surgery, ER, ICU, pediatrics. Donna is the gatekeeper for all of that, so she makes sure that all of those are filled, especially in the chapel now too,
Yes.
because the chapel is one place where people go either to meditate, to pray, to think, and then they also can take a beautiful blanket with them. That's
Yes.
just really cool.
Yes, it is. Very much so. Sometimes I, give a little advice too, people get too down and, you're trying to make them feel better. And I always say, it can be better. You just got to be more positive, because I'm a very positive person when it comes to stuff like that. And I try to make people feel positive about it then.
And her title is Volunteer Ambassador. We tried to come up with something that would encompass everything she does, but there are other roles at Aurora where you can do exactly what Don does. We're starting a new, and it's kind of interesting because I did not choose the wording for it, but we're starting a new program on our Med-Surg unit, and they're called Helping Hands. And they're going to be in the patient's rooms, talking to the patient, visiting with the patient, playing games, stocking the room. We also have another group that are called ER Angels, and they're in the ER doing the exact same thing. So if you like that patient contact, because as we know, not all people like contact with other people.
Right.
And so if you want that contact, that human touch, we have places like Helping Hands and also ER Angels.
Very much so.
Well, in with a program like this, as I said earlier, not everybody's got the family. Sometimes they've got the family, and a particular instance not too long ago was you had a lady in, and she was on one of the med units to begin with, but ended up in ICU. Her husband was in a wheelchair, very poor vision, not able to just easily get over there to visit with her. And so having volunteers poking their nose in and just chatting for a couple of minutes made a big difference to her. And it really made a difference to the husband also.
Sure, it does.
And we do find that out as we go along, and not just for volunteers, but also all of us caregivers. We hear stories like that, or we hear that it's somebody's birthday or somebody's anniversary, and we'll go get a card, or we'll get flowers, we'll get a group of people to sing to them. It's just the environment that we have at Aurora. Our time is winding down, Don. Anything that you want to say that we're going to let you say now on the air?
I just can't say enough about Aurora. To me, it's a very warm place to go. You feel good about it, and I have a great boss.
I did not pay her at all.
No,
at
he
all
didn't.
To say that.
But I don't know what I'd do without him, really. I mean, we work very closely together, and he shows me a lot of respect, and I show him a lot of respect. I'm like a ma to him, but that's okay.
Which I do call her at times. I'll say, Ma, please.
Don't be so disrespectful.
But it is nice, and it's nice to have that relationship with all volunteers. That you can have an environment like that where they can come to you and talk to you about their personal situations, their health situations, and you can try to help them. So we really wanted to do this for our second one. Like we said, our first one was in March, and that was Anne from the United Way. And you are our second Oshkosh Community Unsung Hero,
Well,
Donna
thank you.
Walter. And
Thank
we
you
really
very
do.
much.
And we also thank Oshkosh Media for collaborating with us on this wonderful program.
Also
too.
the Friends of OCM.
Yes. So everyone worked together, and we're glad that you could make it in here today also.
Thank you.
Well, that's our first segment of Helping Hands. Stay tuned, and we'll be back for our second segment of our May edition of Helping Hands.
It's not a charity, it's more than a charity. It's about helping people we live with. It's about being the type of person that the 6-year-old version of ourselves wanted us to be. It's about community and looking out for one another. It's about money, yes, but it's so much more than money. It's about friendship and common values. It's about opening doors when others are slammed shut. It's about giving kids a place to be kids and growing up knowing they live in a community that cares about them. It's about making sure that everyone gets to see the dentist, because we want to make sure that they have every last tooth in those smiles. Ultimately, that's it. It's about the smiles, old smiles and new smiles. It's about us, all of us, our community living united, because great things happen when we live united. Will you join us?
Hi, and we're back for our May edition of Helping Hands. This is the segment where Judy and I talk about things going on in the community, things maybe to enlighten you on what's going on and to share some items with you. So I want to talk about first blood drives. The blood drives have been very successful at Aurora, and the number keeps going up, so we have to keep shooting higher and higher. But the next blood drive at Aurora, which is the community blood drive, is Tuesday, May 22nd, 8:30 to 12:30. I do want to say that January, even with the weather that we received 31 donors. In March was 33.
So this time we're aiming for 40.
Yes, it's a nice number to have, but you see, and I really didn't know this at the time too, if the numbers stay high, they'll let you have the blood drive in an actual building. If the numbers go lower, then they bring the blood mobile in. And people like to be in the building where there's a lot more room, where you get the snacks and everything. So we really want to highlight the blood drive here at Aurora, which is Tuesday, May 22nd at 8:30 a.m. Walk-ins are always welcomed, but it's nice too to get people to call in for appointments. That way you kind of can manage to see how much staff and that needs to be there. So you can call in at Aurora at 456-6000 if you want to schedule an appointment. It seems like May 22nd is that far away, but it's not.
It's not. And one of the things to keep in mind, we talked about the winter and the weather and the difficulty. But then over summer, you get the other group who tends to go away for the summer, the outdoor things, plus with all the outdoor activities, there are accidents and injuries that require blood. Mm-hmm. So the need for blood never goes away. The need for blood is always there. And so if you couldn't give last time when we were there, try for this time.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that people don't recognize, or I didn't recognize either till it happened to me, is that just because you come in doesn't mean you're going to be a donor. There's all these other factors. For me, the only thing that is thin on me are my veins. So they start taking the blood from me, and then it starts to fizzle out and they can't use it. So I'm not a good donor. I want to be, but they need special clips and all of that to do it. And there's other factors too with people too. Mm-hmm. So just because we have 40 people signed up does not mean we're going to get 40 units
Correct.
Of blood.
Correct.
So it's always better to have more people there and get as much as you can. So we encourage blood drives. Please check the Oshkosh Northwestern, check Oshkosh Media's bulletin board,
Oshkosh Herald,
to see all of the blood drives that are going on and get involved that way.
Right. One of the other things that is coming up, well, actually, we don't have a screen for it, but May, Healthcare Decisions Day. If you don't have your advance directives done, check with someone at Aurora. You have the 5 wishes over there, which allows you to make the decisions while you're still able. What do I want done in case do I want feeding tubes? Do I want, CPR? With 5 wishes, you can get into more detail. Mm-hmm. I don't want screaming kids in my room, or I want this music played because it has great meaning to me. So that's a really important thing. And then what's also happened is there's now a dementia directive that says, even if I'm not incapacitated because of this, if I have dementia at this stage, I want this treatment. If I'm at this stage, I want this treatment. And it will also tell you that with dementia, with certain treatments, you're not going to get better. You may have life, but it may not get better. And so these are really good pieces of paper to have.
And I would say with advanced directives, I did not fill one out till I had major surgery. And then it kind of hit me. And I'm a facilitator for it also. I should have had mine done a long time ago.
Absolutely.
But I do now, and I encourage people, and they're free of charge. And also, you could go to Mercy, you could go to Theta, you could go to us, and there will be someone there. If you don't understand something, there
Who
are
can
trained
explain to it.
facilitators who will explain to you everything about it. You can change it, and then the hospitals also will give copies to whoever needs it, whoever you want to have it, the person that you chose, the clinic, the hospital, etc. So advanced directives are a really good thing to have. They just help make decisions a lot easier when and if that time ever comes.
And it's important to note that even though you have the documentation, that does not take effect until 2 doctors declare you incapacitated, which means that you're not capable of making your own decisions at that particular time. And so in the case in my family, my dad's, even though he was early dementia, was still capable of making many decisions. But when he was badly hurt, in the emergency room, 2 doctors declared him incapacitated. And in that moment, I became the decision maker. And that can be kind of a scary thing. But we also had everything laid out. We didn't have to have going to court to get permission to make those decisions. We didn't have to have somebody else making the decisions for us.
And that is the nice thing about an advanced directive. The most important thing to do is to share that advanced directive and what you want with your family, so there are no surprises. Surprises come up if it's an impactful death or a sudden death, and they talk about organ donation, and then you have a divide between the sons and the daughters or the spouse and that, and you don't know what to do, and those decisions need to be made, and you have to go back to what does the person want. And also, it's a good reminder again, just because you have the orange sticker on your driver's license does not mean that you are an organ donor. It gives you your preference, but you need to go on to the Wisconsin registry. And you need to put your name in there, because when a hospital has someone indicated as an organ donor, they will go to that registry and there'll be no questions then.
Right. And just because you do designate it doesn't mean your organs are viable. It depends on the circumstances of death and how long between death and the harvesting of the organs.
And some people are very particular. They'll do skin, they'll do eye. Maybe they don't want, because of their beliefs, they don't want anything done with their major organs. That's up to them. But the important thing about all of this is it's your decision to make in healthcare. So we really do encourage you to get your advanced directive done.
You've got a couple other things.
Yes, well, this one I wanted to mention. I have, we've been working with the Chamber. They do something called an interview-a-thon at Oshkosh West and Oshkosh North, where they invite people to come in. I come in for the volunteer end of it, and we interview their students, and to give them practice on writing a resume, how to dress, how to act, how to talk, how to speak, what to share. And we did have one youth from there who became a volunteer at Aurora out of this. He was taking his CNA classes. He was one of my ER angels, and then Aurora hired him as a CNA. He's 17 years old. Everything just fell into place for him. So we do encourage a lot of people, because we just did the interview-a-thon again a couple weeks ago. There are a lot of people who want to go into healthcare. One of the best things that you can do is get your CNA training.
Absolutely. And that training really stands you in good, well over the years, because even if you're not using it in a healthcare setting, it's handy on the day-to-day basis, and someone in your family gets hurt or becomes ill. In my case, at one point, I came across an accident, and it was before cell phones, and remaining with someone, well, another person went to call for help. These days, we've got the cell phones. or you're just plain the first on the scene when somebody's had a bad
Right.
fall. You're on the phone with one hand, and with the other, you're comforting the other.
So here at Aurora, they do have CNA classes. May 29th through June 29th is the first set of classes, and then July 24th through August 24th. So if you're interested in this, it's always a good prerequisite before you start your schooling for nursing and all that. They're asking for more and more things. Contact Aurora Medical Center, because really it's a jump start for you guys. The sooner that you have it, the sooner you get the healthcare experience. And then we have one more thing to talk about that's going on, and that is Aurora's, they're calling it the Oshkosh Mindful Try on June 2nd. It used to be our Cancer Walk, is what it used to be in like Menominee Park, North Park. It's Saturday, June 2nd. They're calling it a try, a mindful try this year, because they want to take care of body, soul, and spirit. So there's something for everybody in that walk. So they're going to start out with stretching classes and yoga to get you ready. And then you have the actual walk on a beautiful day in June. And then they're going to have, after that, some relaxation things to do, aromatherapy, massage therapy, and things like that to take care of the entire person.
And that's, all of those are really important things, just whether you're doing it as part of that activity or on your own. You need to find that quiet space to recharge for what you have in the rest of your life.
And the walk is something I could definitely do, but I'm not sure if anybody wants to see me in a yoga pose. So that
There's
might
chair yoga.
yeah, so that might be something for me. But you know, after a nice long walk too, raising money for a good cause, to have the aromatherapy and all of that just sounds really, really nice. And so we know it's going to be a good weather day. So again, that is June 2nd. It's called the Oshkosh Mindful Try, if you see it, and it benefits our cancer care programs.
Right. We have some other news that you talked about earlier. Our excitement of the activity that we won an award for.
Oh, yes. We won the Award of Excellence for this talk show, Helping Hands. And the exciting thing about it is this is our second year in a row that we've won the award. So we're very excited. We're very thankful for the wonderful crew here at Oshkosh Media who works with us, because both of those shows were done off-site, took a lot of work, a lot of editing, and they both were winners, and we're so excited because it's excellent. So
The Award of Excellence, which is the top award.
The top awards. We're
and
excited.
it's the Midwest media. It's not just Wisconsin. So it's like 9 states.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if they're seeing us out there, but they're judging us out there. And and we got this award, so we're thankful for that. We're really happy that you could join us for this show, and stay tuned for our next edition of Helping Hands. I'm John Neiman with Aurora Medical Center.
And Judy Ritchie, Community Advocate. Thank you for joining us.